The hardest part of this book was covered in the chapter 2 when I discussed the four components of education. This chapter is not that hard a topic if you have understood my exposition in the earlier chapter. However, it's still a challenge for me as the writer because it is like joining the bridge from the two sides. So it's the connection between the four components of education and the physical anatomical structure of the brain, which is popularly known as the four brain quadrants. In order to understand this four brain quadrant concept, I have written this chapter for you. Why I had to write this exposition on the brain when I already had talked about the four components of education? Well, it is because I wanted to establish the argument that our brain itself is designed in such a way that it learns naturally using the four components of education. I wanted to prove that there is a natural evolutionary way by which we learn and we get educated. It's not something that I made up, that is the four components of education. They are the inherent processes by which our brain can learn, or learns, in fact. I've been trying to establish that the four components of education is the way our intelligence works. I have talked about it a lot. That is the difference between intelligence, mind, and memory in my other book called Unified Meditation. So I do not think that this is the right place to explain this difference between the three of these. It suffices to say that this book is not related to the mind or even to the memory, but to the intelligence. It is the ability to input from the environment and make an output into the environment of the mind. The question is, how does this intelligence work, which I did not and could not answer in my earlier book that I just mentioned, the Unified Meditation. The reason we do not love our studies, or that we lost the joy of studying, is that we are in disharmony with the way our brain is designed to learn. For that, we must know how people really learn. The ability to understand cognition isn't developed through physical experiments. It requires that we talk to many people and investigate how they are learning, on how they are not able to learn. And this is exactly what those thousands of counseling sessions have allowed me to do. By talking to all those students with their problems in their studies, I was able to link back my own learning practices and hundreds of books I had read on learning. And that's how I came with the four components of education, namely information, skill, knowledge, and wisdom. These concepts were certainly not new, but the way I applied them is definitely new. Still, in my own experience, I knew that this was just one half of the bridge and it had to connect with the other half. What I wanted to establish is to say that our brain has got a property to learn by instinct as per the four components of education. We walk on two legs because we have an upright position. We don't digest our food with our hands because we have a mouth and a digestive system inside our bodies. We see the world around us in the colors that we do because our eyes are designed accordingly. Now, what I'm trying to get at is we are using the four components of education because our brain is structured accordingly. And this is what I'm going to prove in this section. Thereafter, I will link the particular brain structures to the various four components. In this way, we now have what I have named the book by the four brain learning approach. It is the most human and natural way to learn. We're just built or designed that way. The reason I had to join the two sides of the bridge is that I wanted the students to intuitively know the best approach to learn whatever they wanted to. I didn't want it to be a makeup of my own mind, but instead, I wanted it to be a natural extension of our human existence. What is more reassuring than to know that our brain is designed to learn in a specific, effective way? Then, because of some people who were at the helm of the educational institution didn't know this natural build of the brain. We are here today unable to learn properly. We are here hating our studies. We are here unable to study. This is all because the people in power didn't have this knowledge that I have expounded in this book. There is a particular way that our brain is designed to learn in. For that, you must understand how this brain is made up. Then, you must fulfill all the criteria of learning as per the anatomy and neurology of the brain. You cannot just idealize a learning approach. It has to be complete, holistic. And this is the objective of this book, especially of this particular chapter, to help you understand that our brains are designed in a certain way and we must recognize it and utilize it accordingly. Much of the postulate that I've put here haven't been proved scientifically, but as you will learn later on, there have been many writers from whom I have been inspired. They have done some preliminary studies and research. However, I know that this is not enough to have a universal consensus on the validity of my four-brain approach for learning. Yet, since I don't belong to any academic circle, I have no fear to be ridiculed or to be ousted. First, there is no one to be threatened by my teachings because I haven't positioned them so as to destabilize the current educational systems. Everything that I have been talking in this book is just an add on to the existing systems of teaching and learning. All I am saying is that what we are doing is already good, but not enough. Then, secondly, from which pedestal shall I be dethroned from because I hold none? I am just a free thinker. Today I'm talking about learning, education, intelligence. Yesterday I was talking about meditation. Before that I was talking about spirituality. Still before that I was talking about overthinking and psychology. And my first published book was about leadership. Next, I'll be writing about still more diversified topics. So I'm not stuck to a single place. In this way, there is no issue of being ousted or raised on a pedestal for me. So now, let me explain to you how this brain of ours is structured in terms of intelligence or learning and how it links back to the four components of education. Take a look at the diagram. You'll see that there are three ovals. They all represent the human brain. The first one shows the left and right divide. The second one shows the upper and lower brain divide. And the third one shows the combination of the two divides into four quadrants. I'll be explaining each of the components of the brain in more details in the next subsection. For now, I will just talk in a summary, generalized format about this diagram so that you have big picture before we go into the details. If you look at any biology book, or even if you Google search on the brain, you will see that it is divided into the left and the right. In fact, this must be the most popular way we understand our brain nowadays. It didn't enter our modern psyche just out of the blue. That is this concept of left and right brain. No, this concept has its own history that consists of many scientists, especially neurobiologists, who did a lot of research on the brain and published wonderful books. Again, I will not be covering them here, so I just showed you a signpost, and you can further investigate. The divide between the left brain and the right brain consists of a very thin gap that is bridged by lots of neurons. The divide is so real that if somehow that set of neurons connecting the two brain sides is cut, then the two brains will work independently of one another. Again, there are many experiments designed to illustrate this point, and it's just a click away on Google. Based on various experiments, both by measuring the electrical signals in the brain and through cognitive tests, it has been concluded that the left brain, in terms of cognition, is related to logic and logical thinking. So somebody who is left brain dominated will tend to be very rational. Also, most of you must know that the left brain is connected to the right hand, and the left hand is linked to the right brain. The right brain is related to the expression of feelings and thoughts, can be through visuals or language. So somebody who is a right brain dominant will talk more about emotions and feelings, perceptions, ideas, and so on. The next diagram shows the brain is divided into upper and lower brain. Again, if you do a Google search on the elevation view or the side view of the brain, you will see that there are two layers. The lower one is often called the reptilian brain, and topmost one is referred to as the prefrontal cortex. So the lower brain is related to the details based thinking. If you compare this characteristic to a forest, then the lower brain is about seeing the trees and the grass inside the forest. The upper brain is related to conceptual thinking and abstract thinking. Again, this is about seeing the forest instead of the particular trees, by continuing the above analogy. Now, coming to the third diagram, you can see that I have combined the earlier two diagrams, starting with the right lower brain. You can see that I have called that quadrant information quadrant. This is because, based on the studies conducted so far, this particular area of the brain is related to observation of things around us, events around us, and even our own feelings. This particular quadrant seeks to find a relation to the world around us and within us. And that's why I have linked it to the information component among the four components of education that we learned earlier on. So because it's the right lower brain, it also means that here there is the combination of the expression of feelings and thoughts and the detail-based thinking. The second quadrant is the left lower brain, which I have labeled as the skill quadrant. This part of the brain seeks to follow procedures because it is logical and detail based. This part of the brain wants to have order, processes, rules, policies. The clearer they are, the better it is. The skills involved can be physical or mental and even emotional, but this part is very concerned with things to do and how to do it. We'll discuss in more details in the relevant subsection later on. The third quadrant is the left upper brain. I have labeled it the knowledge quadrant. So the characteristics of this part of the brain is that it's logical and conceptual. It differs from the skill quadrant because it seeks the overall picture. It wants to see the forest and not only the trees. I've talked about knowledge component exhaustively earlier on, so this applies equally to the information and skill quadrants that we talked about earlier on. This labeling is again about linking the two sides of the bridge together. That is the four components of education and the four brain quadrants. Finally, the fourth quadrant is the right upper brain, which I have labeled the wisdom quadrant. So this one is characterized by the expression of feelings and thoughts and conceptual thinking. This is most appropriate for cross-discipline learning, creativity, synthesizing, and everything we talked about under the wisdom component early on. So now you have got the overall picture and concept of the four brain structure and how they are linked to the four components of the learning that we discussed earlier on. And this is what I have called the four brain learning approach. As I told you earlier on, it is because we are built that way. So we have to understand our own brains and learn accordingly because it's the natural way to do it. As I've been telling you earlier on, most of the educational institutions today are focused on just giving the skills. So this means that as per the diagram, they are using only the left lower brain or the skills quadrant. No wonder the students are not happy and are not able to enjoy their studies because the three other components or the three other brain quadrants are not stimulated. It's like eating or working with your hands but only using one finger instead of the other five. It's like walking on one leg. It's like eating food but not using your teeth to chew them and just swallowing. How ridiculous can education get by ignoring the other three brain quadrants? The students in the earlier days had the patience to accept the mandate of the old authorities on education and build up their lower left brain skill quadrant until they reach their master's degree. That is, they learned skills upon skills, facts upon facts, data upon data without complaining. Then, upon finishing their education, they try to link those skills to the information around them and develop knowledge based on those information and skills. And then some of them develop the wisdom to create new knowledge and innovate. But the extension of our learning from the skill quadrant to the other three quadrants was not because of the educational system. No, it was despite of that, done by only a few of the revolutionary students. Through this book, I want every student not to have to be a revolutionist in order to be able to enjoy studies like those revolutionary students who went on to create works of great marvel, to become fathers of their fields, to make advances in knowledge that are leaps and bounds beyond conventional skills. All you need to help those students find the joy in studies is to integrate this four brain learning approach in the syllabus and in your own teaching methods, and for the students in their learning and studying practices. It will take time for the system to change, maybe decades, but you students, by learning and reading this book, can start today.